little bit of technical difficulties. I'm just going to finish setting up this. Actually, I'm going to move the whole table. Okay. Awesome. I started this live because I didn't have anything scheduled for today. And I just thought, okay, let's do something together. I had absolutely no ideas of what I wanted to do. And then as I was trying to clean up from yesterday's pastel session, you can see that I've got pastels all over my hands still. I thought, okay, I'm going to use some watercolors and I'm going to make shapes. Just a super simple sketchbook session. You don't need to use watercolors. You could use pretty much anything. You could use markers or pencil crayons or whatever. And I'm just going to make shape on shape, shape on shape on shape on shape. That's my intention. As always, I will definitely be going with the flow of what feels good in the moment. So sometimes I start with an intention in my sketchbook and it doesn't end up that I do that at all. So we'll see how today goes. I just kicked my shoes off and I'm just noticing that this sketchbook is a little bit crooked on the camera. Anyway, we shall see how this goes. And I'm curious if you have something that you do that you love to do in your sketchbook that you just go to when you don't have an idea of what to do. I like to do a daily practice, and so, you know, running out of ideas is a real thing. And feeling bored is a real thing. Do you ever feel bored when you're doing sketchbooks in your sketchbook? Sometimes you're just like, sometimes it's just nice to have someone say, start with this. So I'm going to say, start with a blue teardrop shape and see where it takes you. For me, it took me to another teardrop shape. It's interesting because this shape, I might have been something different if I was just doing this on my own, but because I'm talking, I do tend to find that I get motivated to do the same shape over and over. I think that's because, you know, I'm multitasking, I guess, because I'm talking to you guys. But now I've drawn these 3 shapes and I think, you know what? This is definitely flower territory. How many of you do flowers all the time in your sketchbook? I don't know. That's one of my go-tos as well, is flowers. Usually very sort of childlike flowers. Those are my favorite. Just like what I would draw on my binder in grade 6. That kind of thing. I'd love to hear what if you drew the teardrop shape, what shape did you draw next? Or if you didn't draw the teardrop shape, what shapes are you starting with? Just the random shapes. I'm digging into some purple here. I don't know, I'm just feeling like a little squiggly line off of this flower. And I think I'm going to do it between each one of the blue shapes from the middle out. As I said, I never have any rhyme. I rarely have a rhyme or reason. I shouldn't say I don't have any because, you know, I started knowing that I was going to use these watercolor paints, or I mean, when I set up the camera, I knew I was going to use these watercolor paints. And that feels good there. And now I'm just feeling some circles on the ends of those lines. I'm gonna use a different color purple for that. Just playing around. It's a little Mandela-like, really. Or like a five-legged octopus, maybe. And this will feel so much more fun if you join me and you actually get out some art materials, no matter what they are. They don't have to be special. They can be absolutely anything. They could just be the Crayola crayons that your kid got from Swiss Chalet the other night. Or whatever. You know what I'm saying when you go to the restaurant and get those. I think it's only like 3 crayons now. It's like you get blue and red and yellow. That's totally cool. That's all you need. And they put it in plastic. I don't really understand that. As if touching crayons that another person has touched is such a bad thing. I just felt like these circles were quite a bit smaller than the other circles I started to draw. So now I'm feeling stuck. I don't know what to do next. I am feeling maybe some yellow, but I don't know what. So maybe I'll just make a random organic shape in yellow. Really bright yellow. This is... I find these watercolors that I am using are pretty good for sort of drawing. They don't move as much as a lot of other watercolors. These are the Ganze Tombe. I can't remember what they're... Ganze Tambi Kuretake. I think this is like the 48 color set. So if you're feeling stuck, maybe just try making a yellow organic shape. See what happens there. This kind of reminds me of like a genie or Casper. I might put some eyes on it. We shall see. I'll wait for it to dry a little bit before I put anything on it. I'm feeling drawn into this color, sort of a reddy pink. I'm just going to do another organic shape here. Oh, it's actually not very pink at all once it's on. This practice for me is not really about making anything that looks pretty, and more just about following sort of what I feel drawn to in the moment. Each moment as it passes. I'm definitely having some feelings of dislike coming up around these organic shapes, but just roll with it. I'm just rolling with it, I should say. Also just feeling the feelings. It's a good way to practice, feeling the feels. And you just never know what might come of it. Who knows what these might turn into? They could end up being really cool. They could end up being terrible as well. I just had a little inkling to use this tealy color at the bottom of here. Like that. Okay. Maybe I will do another organic shape. What makes you feel most playful while you are in your sketchbook? Do you feel most playful when you're just making random things? Do you feel most playful when you're making something that looks beautiful? Do you feel most playful when you're making something that looks ugly? Is there something else? Is it like a time of day or the people you're with? What brings play to your art practice or your creativity practice, I should say? Well, I only have one space left here, so I may as well fill it, right? I love this color. I'm going to fill it with this color. I actually really like these colors together, so I'm actually going to do this first. And then I'm going to do a little organic shape. This shape's kind of looking like a person with a baseball hat on. And I think I'm going to continue on just doing the little something something of the other color. The color in the next quadrant, I should say. Woo-hoo. I think it was this red I used. I think I'm going to use this sort of light blue. Over here, maybe. I'm obviously feeling drawn to teardrops today. That reminds me that I'd been thinking about doing a session of half circles. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. And just so you have a little time check, we have about 5 minutes left in our session here. So definitely start thinking about if there's any finishing touches you want to do, or I don't know. I really rarely think about finishing touches. I just finish when I feel finished. And sometimes when I get into it and I like what I'm creating, I can go longer, but this session was hard to get started, and also I don't have any sort of strong feelings of enjoyment about what it is that I've got on the page, so I will definitely be done after the 20 minutes. I feel like I need to get some details into some of these shapes, so let's see what I can do there. Maybe some dots or lines or something like that. Squiggles. I don't know. We'll see. Ooh, it's a little watery. I think I'm going to try and drop a bit of orange into the center here. We'll see. That looks kind of cool, actually. I just go with, like, how random is this? I just go with whatever random thing comes to me. You should give it a try before judging it too much. It works a different part of the brain, a different part of the nervous system. And when you're worried about, not even worried, but when your focus is on creating something that has beauty or has a good composition or anything like that, it's just there's nothing wrong with either way. They're just like different focuses. And I do think it's pretty cool what comes up when you just create like you were in kindergarten. Just putting color wherever you want to put some color. I think that's part of escaping boredom, actually, is just allowing ourselves the space for letting whatever will be, will be. As soon as I have any sort of like outcome, there's a different vibe. Any sort of outcome in mind, there's definitely a different vibe. So I'm just gonna do one more color here. I'm really feeling like I'd like a line right there. I might do another one. It's interesting because I just had this sort of feeling that there's something about this that feels almost like a clock or something. I don't know where that's coming from, but it came, so I'm sharing. There. That's my playful sketchbook piece for today. I hope you had a good time. I did. And as always, it's great to be here with you. And I will see you tomorrow for another scribble session. Bye.